Hello and welcome to a HotUtils playground tutorial. This will be a basic level of tutorial to showcase relationship modding to have characters that are dependent on other characters have their mods taken care of in pairs by the AI. So as your roster increases its mods, you don't have to worry about individually calibrating each character. You can let the bot take care of that once you've established some requirements and rules. So I'm just going to set up the standard Grief Bosk team because it's just a really easy level of team to uh, make an example, basically. Right, so easiest thing we want to do here, I'm just going to check through some stuff. Alright, so the easy way to do is generally in any sort of bounty hunter team, you want Bosk to be the fastest because Bosk even if he's on defense, he'll prioritize his taunt, which gives him frenzy. When any other ally does a special ability, frenzy will trigger, which will give him a 100% turn meter on the next, so he'll take another turn. So the relationship between Bosk and someone like Grief is super important because Bosk will start off with his taunt, and then Grief will do his mass assist, and then trigger Bosk, and then Bosk can do his mass assist, and depending on the lead, in this case, this will be a Fennec lead, then you've basically got instant contract, and then if you've got the turn order right, Mando basically has a first turn disintegrate, and if you've got the turn order all perfect, this could be like 300 speed, 299, and then 298. So there's no breaks in between. There's no opportunity for your opponent to really shut this down with things like dazes, ability blocks, stuns, because it's just a 1-2, or in this case, a 1-2-3 punch. So I'm just going to showcase that. So we'll go into this little pen symbol. So we want to go into the Bosk, go to the advanced section, and where we have the advanced stat requirements, I'm just going to delete this here. We want to open up a desired. Now the difference between your desired and your required is that your desired is more of a luxury, sorry, not luxury, this is what we really want. So if we want a character to have 350 speed, this is where we'd put it. But if they, for whatever reason, you've got too many characters on your roster that you're trying to mod at once, you don't have enough high value mods that can fulfill that, then it'll drop down to a required. Your required is, this is your minimum bar to enter. So if we've, say, got Boss, we want him to be absolutely minimum, say 300 speed, we'd put it here. And then, but for the desired, we want him to be faster than that. So let's just say we want him to be, say, 330 speed. It'll aim to do this first. And you could have other things. You could have, you want Bosk with a total protection amount of 120,000. And the distinction with this is these are done in tiers. So this will be prioritized over this. But if all of this fails, it doesn't matter. One of these can succeed where the other one fails. But once you go to the required, if one step of these fails, if either of these fail because you just cannot meet the requirements, it'll all be scrapped and it'll be prompting you to check again because it just can't happen. So you want this required section to be the absolute minimum that you're willing to play with, and the desired to be a where you'd like it to go if you can afford it. So we want this, we've got that, and then we don't really need to do anything for Bosk. Bosk is our benchmark character that we're setting this all for. So we've got all that saved, and then at the moment he's not meeting that. He's lower than the 300 speed required, lower than the 330 desired. So we'll change that in a sec, but we want Grief to be dependent on Bosk. So we'll open up Grief, go to the advanced section, and then the advanced stat requirements. Now we're requiring him, so this is like a this has to happen. We need him to be compared to Bosk. So we find Bosk in the compare. We want the same stat of speed, which is already highlighted. If you need to, you can change this, but I recommend just leaving it alone for the moment. And we want Grief to be one speed different and we're going to make the threshold between the min and the max of the amount he needs to be slower exactly -1 off Bosk's speed. If you want to, you can have it so he's between 10 and say 20 speed, whatever you like, and that's a bit more flexible. But for this, we want to maximize that 1-2 punch combo, so we're going to lock it so it cannot be anything different. So we've got that, and now that's all set up. Grief is the rules are in place, and then we'll open up Mando, and we want Mando to be in a similar sort of thing, so we'll open up him, required, and then we're going to compare Mando to Grief, because Grief is our second person in our chain, so we want him to be 1 speed behind. Now you can do other things in here. You can, make their offense higher, make their this, that, the other. We're just going to talk on speed today. Now, people like Fennec, we don't really need her to have a high speed necessarily. She's not really dependent on turn order. Django, same sort of thing. This is just a generic sort of idea. Now, if we run the automation here, it'll take into consideration all the characters that we've chosen. We've only chosen one team. This gets a bit more complicated as you start introducing more additional teams into this. But this is just to showcase. Now, depending on the amount of restrictions that you've put on, this process could take minutes, could take a very long time. So keep that in mind. Now, the green tick here means that everything's been met. So if you look at the speed, Bosk is meeting the desired 330 plus. He's at 332. Grief is exactly 1 speed behind, and Mando is exactly 1 speed behind him. Once the relationship is established, even if we change our mods later, we get better mods, no matter what, this relationship between these 3 characters will always stay the same. It all just hinges on where Bosk can get. So if we spend better mods on some Galactic Legends, some really other important other characters, and Bosk has to share his best mods, he'll drop down to 300, he might drop down to 280, wherever you get him, and the other 2 will always be 1 below him no matter what. So the combination will always stay the same. It's just where the entry point for Bosk is might change accordingly, and that's something to look at later. But this is just a general overview of how to do relationships in the playground section. Thank you for listening to my lecture on part 1 basics. There'll be more videos after this. Thank you.